My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China.
Once you
None of
became
that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
Your President Joe Biden has been using secret pseudonyms to conceal his identity. Maybe that's connected to the fact that Donald Trump was right. Millions were made in those energy deals with China and the Ukraine. Could those two things be connected? Hello there, you 6.5 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining us today for this voyage to truth and freedom. Turn on the notification bell and subscribe. My name is Robin Waring. I'm your host. Sorry, I'm actually called Russell Brand. Joe Biden has been using a host of pseudonyms, but don't get suspicious as a result of that. There's a whole host of reasons that people use pseudonyms, and let me talk you through them. Sometimes use a pseudonym to hide your identity because what you're involved in is either criminal, illegal, or shameful in some way. That's it. That's the only reason anyone would ever use a pseudonym. So let's get into this story, particularly as CNN have had to recently admit that Donald Trump was right when he said that millions were made from the energy deals between China, Ukraine, and the Biden family. How extraordinary.
And Kristen, Glenn Kessler from the Washington Post had a fact check about Joe Biden from earlier this month, noting that Hunter Biden admitted in court in July that he was in fact paid substantial sums from Chinese companies. Kessler wrote, Hunter Biden reported nearly $2.4 million in income in 2017 and $2.2 million in income in 2018, most of which came from Chinese or Ukrainian interests. But this directly goes against what Joe Biden said in the debate in 2020 with Donald Trump. Take a listen.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China.
Once you
None of
became
that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
That is really, really inconvenient, I would say, for Joe Biden supporting Democrats to have Donald Trump and Joe Biden sharing a screen together and Joe Biden be the one that's lying, because Donald Trump is the one that's currently being indicted. Credit to CNN for showing this and bringing it up. Let's see how they try to offer us panaceas, palliatives, mitigation, contingency. Oh, why is this okay when he does it?
So it's from two different debates, but I mean, Trump was right. I mean, he did make a fortune from China.
Look at how they're beginning to justify it. A Hunter Biden blind spot. Like, oh, all of us parents would make little efforts and fudge the facts for our kids. And God, I suppose I would, actually. But it's not a blind spot when you're the president. It's a corrupt spot. Got a bit of a corrupt spot when it comes to saying my son didn't earn millions when he did earn millions. That's a lying spot. That's a measles. That's an outbreak. That's one pandemic we can get behind.
And Joe Biden was wrong. I don't know that he was lying about it. He might not have been told by Hunter, but this blind spot is a problem.
All these bloody blind spots. Well, we can just put it down to a blind spot as long as Joe Biden hasn't been masquerading under a host of pseudonyms, because when someone uses a pseudonym, they're usually trying to hide what they're doing under that pseudonym. If, for example, you were buying an illicit substance and the person selling you that illicit substance, hey, what's your name? My name is Rob Innocent Man. One would assume that you are using that pseudonym to conceal your tracks in making that transaction, right?
Homer? Who is Homer? My name is Guy Incognito.
It's a problem, one, because Republicans aren't going to let it go, that's for sure.
Oh, those Republicans, they won't let it go. Just because someone lies and is corrupt, they bang on about it. Unlike us, look at us with Donald Trump. Not tenaciously dogging the guy to get him out of the presidential campaign. It's like it's one role for them and another role for us.
But also, these problems are continuing through the legal system. It's not as though this is something that's been settled in other jurisdictions and Republicans are just harping on it. It is an ongoing thing in our courts. It's not going anywhere.
This is a blind spot.
It's a blind spot. It's a blind spot. That's how it works, isn't it, mainstream media now? They just give you phrases. Look out to see if you hear anyone going, oh yeah, admittedly, Joe Biden's got a bit of a, I don't know, how can I describe it? Corruption? No, that's not it. Lying? No, that's not it. Bad, lame duck president? No, that's not it. Blind spot! That's what the TV told me. Blind spot! spot.
Does it concern you as a Democrat?
Well, I think dads have sometimes, and parents sometimes have blind spots.
It's understandable. We're dads. We got blind spots. It's just not like me today with my daughters when they sort of argue about who's going to wear what thing. And I'm like, God, I love these kids so much. Look, I'll get you one as well. This is corruption. This is lying. All the while building your forthcoming campaign around the corruption of your opponent. This guy's so corrupt. We have to do something about this guy. Hillary Clinton, smug and snug on Rachel Maddow. I told you this would happen. Yeah, well, should we have a little look at that foundation? And what about this dude and Hunter Biden's business dealings? With that many blind spots, I don't think you can be in charge of steering a country.
And parents sometimes have blind spots about their kids, for sure, and the president may be no exception.
Like when it's convenient, they equate matters of international governance to the simple domestic relationships you might have with a child. That's not fair. Not in this instance. You can't map that onto it. You can see that the approach to this item is, this is not okay. How do we make it sound okay? Well, when have you done stuff that's corrupt in your life? Oh God, I suppose like I'd be corrupt if it was to protect my kid. Should we say that then? That's not good enough. That's not rigorous journalism. What they should be saying now, actually, because for a minute I thought, oh, it's good that CNN are including this because obviously they're addressing it, but they're not addressing it. They're trying to dampen it down, dilute it, and obfuscate it live on your TV set. Donald Trump's got a blind spot, whatever it is you've got him up for this week. He's got a blind spot on wanting to win elections. He can't start using that. Those elections are like his kids, and he just likes to win his kids, you know?
But nothing has tied the president to any of Hunter Biden's dealings. There's no whiff of him being involved or him being implicated in it.
There's a terrible whiff of that, isn't it? The whole place stinks of it. I feel like I've got my snout up Joe Biden's bumhole and he's just farting lies up my snout pipe. Now there's an image for you.
And it's, you know, I think it's not something the voters care a lot about.
Oh, the voters don't care about that. That's you. When does the news turn into hypnotism? It's not the job of the news to tell you that you don't care about corruption and lying, is it? The job of the news is, here's some facts. I don't know what you think about it. You might think it's okay. You might go, oh, it's any parent would do the same. Or you might, for some reason, like you're a mad nihilist, not care about it. It's not the job of the news to offer you suggestions, to sort of take you by the hand and lead you to erroneous conclusions about systemic corruption and hypocrisy at a time when democracy is apparently on the brink of collapse because of this kind of thing. Because the mainstream news, instead of saying, look, all this while we've been saying Donald Trump's corrupt and Joe Biden's fantastic, it actually seems that at very least Joe Biden is also corrupt, and we're going to have to look now with new eyes, without all of our blind spots we have because we love our kids so much, at the reality of this situation. This is insidious suggestion rather than news reporting. With all this stuff going on, no wonder Joe Biden's using pseudonyms. President Joe Biden's use of multiple pseudonyms during his vice presidency appears to have hidden some of his communications from that period. Yeah. So that's the fucking point of them. Including some involving, wait for it, Ukraine policy and his son, Hunter Biden. What an incredible coincidence. Almost as if he's trying to obscure and conceal his involvement in Hunter Biden's business deals. The House Oversight Committee asked the National Archives on Thursday for communications involving 3 of Joe Biden's aliases, Robert Peters, Robin Ware, and J.R.B. Ware. I think he's going to have particular trouble remembering J.R.B. Ware. Hello, it's me, Robin Peters, robbing the American public of taxpayer dollars to keep my son in business. Yes, that's how I can remember that, while I'm robbing the American public while my memory peters out. That's good. J.R.B. Ware. Wait, which one do you use J.R.B. and which one do you use Robin? I'm J.R.B. Robin. Hunter, I got some bad news. J.R.B. just shat his diaper. I hope Burisma don't find out about this. Well, to be fair, Dad, they do deal in gas. Call me J.R.B. I mean Robin. Oh, which one am I now? So it looks like Joe Biden, in order to manage his complex life, has to have a number of special identities. Robin, JRB. Well, if you're going to run as many identities as Joe Biden, you're going to need a lot of support. I'm a person who sometimes has to advertise magnificent products, not least because I've accidentally got myself in a pull-up competition with someone that should replace Joe Biden. Good old RFK, the stacked, jacked, buff, hench candidate for the presidency, has challenged me to a pull-up competition that I'm probably going to lose. Have you been in a situation like that? In order to avoid global humiliation at the hands and huge, massive arms of RFK Jr., I've turned to Black Forest supplements. NMM gets me pepped right up and increases my strength and endurance. Sinstatch with Tonkat Ali, Tonkat Ali, is a natural remedy I use to boost energy and to help me remember all my pseudonyms. And testosterone is my favourite. It helps me build my muscle and enhance my performances. Next time you're going mano a mano with a member of the Kennedy family, ask not what you can do for Black Forest supplements, but what Black Forest supplements can do for you. Sorry, mate, that was a good line. Get them down, ya! Ich bin ein Black Forester. Try them out today and use the link below to get a 10% discount. I'm coming for you, RFK. Get ready for the gun show. You're probably soft on gun laws as well, aren't you? The committee sought correspondence between those aliases. That's funny, like they're talking to each other. Robin, I got JRB on line 1. Hello, JRB here. How did you get this number, JRB? Robin gave it to me. Which one, Robin Peters or Robin Ware? Peters, I think. Okay, I've got to go. Hunter's on the other line. I know Hunter's in here somewhere. I can smell gas. Oh no, that was me. The committee sought correspondence between those aliases, Hunter Biden and 2 of his former business partners, Eric Schwerin and Devon Archer. Only emails involving the aliases and Hunter Biden are presently public due to the publication of contents of a laptop he abandoned in a Delaware repair shop. He should have picked that fucking laptop up again, shouldn't he? That laptop that we were told for ages was irrelevant, that it was Russian propaganda. Everything they don't like is Russian propaganda. I'm going to watch some Russian propaganda. I bet a lot of it's just bad stuff that Bidens have done. Several of those messages suggest Hunter Biden was looped in on preparations his father, in his capacity as vice president, was making for talks with Ukrainian officials in 2016. At the time, Hunter Biden was working on the board of a Ukrainian energy company. In one message from May 26, 2016, for example, Hunter Biden was copied on an email to his father from a staff member who was reminding the then vice president that the following morning he would huddle with staff before a phone call with then Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko. Why is Hunter Biden being copied in on government emails if Hunter Biden's business dealings are not connected to the government? It seems particularly relevant that he's on the board at Burisma and it was a call with Petro Poroshenko, the then Ukrainian president. Wait, is that the president or is that another one of my pseudonyms? Petro, is this you? Yes, this is me, Petro. Are you real or are you a pseudonym? I'm real, I'm the president of Ukraine. Oh, in that case, can my son have a job? Your son's already got a job. What are we gonna do about Robin Peters? You are Robin Peters. Good, good. At least he doesn't know about Robin Ware. Oh, JRB, what am I going to do with these kids? Hunter Biden was not frequently looped into such emails about his father's schedule, presumably only when it was relevant to his business dealings that are definitely not corrupt. I mean, we saw it on CNN. Everyone's got a blind spot. His inclusion on scheduling emails with Robert Peters, his father's pseudonym at that time, appeared to happen on just a handful of dates that corresponded to developments with Ukrainian policy. Almost as if Joe Biden or Robert Peters' scheduling details with the Ukrainian president had some relevance to Hunter Biden and his business dealings. Joe Biden had already successfully pressured Poroshenko to fire Ukraine's prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, by the time the May 27th call occurred. Shokin had been investigating the energy company that was paying Hunter Biden and his business associates significant money at the time. Luckily, that's the kind of thing that the American voters just don't care about, do you guys? You don't care about a vice president meddling in the internal affairs of a foreign nation that later you go to war in when their son has a job working at a company within that country. That's the sort of thing that makes me, oh, I'm so bored. We've all got blind spots, right, JRB? No, JRB. How did they sack poor old Viktor Shokin? That kind of been an easy conversation. I have some bad news, Victor. I'm afraid you're fired. Why? Who has the right to fire me? Well, it's Robert Peters, Robin Ware, and JRB Ware, but I never hear of any of these people. They're all Joe Biden. Well, at least that explains the stink of farts in this office. In an email between Hunter Biden and Robin Ware, another Joe Biden pseudonym, it must be so confusing. Joe Biden can't even remember which direction to walk when a speech ends or not to read out the teleprompter information when he's doing a speech. God knows how he coped with multiple pseudonyms. Hunter, you better have a word with Robert Ware. He's furious. Why is that? Because Robin Peters is gonna go through the roof. What's going on, Pop? Don't you talk to me like that or you'll have JRB Ware to answer through. In an email between Hunter Biden and Robin Ware, another Joe Biden pseudonym, Hunter Biden appears to press for a friend, John McGrail, to land a job he wanted in June 2014, year of the coup in Ukraine, imploring his father to consider McGrail before you fill the position. Call me right away, Joe Biden replied. Wait, McGrail, you're not another one of my pseudonyms, are you? I'm afraid I am. You're still hired! I like the cut of your jib. By the following month, according to his LinkedIn page, McGrail had landed a job as a deputy counsel in the vice president's office and was later promoted to counsel. He's rising through the ranks. Oh, McGrail, he's brilliant. An IRS whistleblower this spring brought forward evidence that investigators had compiled over several years about the extent of Joe Biden's role in the business, including an FBI interview with a former business partner who said discussions were had about cutting Joe Biden in on a Chinese deal if he decided against his 2020 presidential run, and Joe Biden's willingness to stop by dinners to help his son close deals. Wow, I mean, that does seem to be getting quite adjacent to corruption right there. But he did become president, thank God. Archer, another former business partner, told the House Oversight Committee last month that Hunter Biden would frequently put Joe Biden on speakerphone during meetings with his foreign business associates, including some from the Ukrainian company, and confirmed that Joe Biden stopped by in person, or should that say persons, to multiple foreign business dinners. Listen, you've not seen me. If anyone asks who was here, just say old JRB supports this deal, right? Although Robin Peters has some serious questions. It might be corrupt, especially if I do run for president. In addition, emails and bank records show that James Biden, Joe Biden's brother, oh God, there's more of them, also earned substantial income from foreign sources while Joe Biden was vice president, undermining the talking point that Hunter Biden's business was completely isolated from the Biden family. It doesn't look that isolated, does it? But anyway, as CNN told you, there's nothing to worry about because these things are all in the legal system. They're all being investigated by good old David Weiss. Let's have a look at David Weiss's history. What was he doing before he was investigating Hunter Biden? It's not like David Weiss has any previous organisation with Moderna who've had huge profits in the last few years and maybe a shady past. Meanwhile, it's been revealed that US Attorney David Weiss, the special counsel in the DOJ's investigation into Hunter Biden, was previously involved in a Moderna lawsuit in which he defended the massive pharmaceutical company from any liability relating to patent violations. Oh, the US government, on behalf of the Department of Health and Human Services, filed a statement of interest on February the 14th. That's Valentine's Day. Perfect day for a sweetheart deal. That urged the federal court to divert liability for alleged patent violations committed by Moderna to the government itself. Weiss was one of 6 people named on the DOJ's statement of interest. The statement of interest supported Moderna's argument that because its COVID-19 vaccines were made specifically for the government, the taxpayer should bear the liability associated with alleged patent infringements. They're acting like it's a tab on a bar. Yeah, just stick it on my bill. Oh, there's a few patent infringements as well. Put it on the bill. Yeah, don't worry. JRB will pick it up. After the filing of the statement of interest, Moderna both attempted to raise prices on its vaccines and grow its golden parachute. Gold is actually quite heavy. You shouldn't make parachutes out of that. For CEO Stéphane Bancel to over $926 million. Oh my God, that's so much money. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Weiss special counsel for the ongoing investigation into Hunter Biden's taxes and foreign business dealings on August the 11th. This looks, on the page, pretty appalling, doesn't it? It looks like there's a set of interconnected interests, a bunch of pseudonyms, pretty plain evidence that Joe Biden to some degree or another at least supports and is perhaps significantly involved in Hunter Biden's business dealings. The mainstream media is reporting on it in a way that's akin to hypnosis. The voters don't care about that. We've all got blind spots when it comes to having multiple lying identities, getting involved in our kids' business dealings. What is the best offering they could give you at this point? Oh, it's just the way things are. This is the way government is. That's precisely the problem. If this isn't corruption because they can sort of weevil their way through it, if they can nitpick their way through the various crosshairs and tangled thickets of what appears to be corruption to a normal person, that's even worse. That shows how deeply corrupt the system itself is, that it affords this level of corruption without consequence. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. JRB, Robin Peters, Robin Wares. I want to hear from all you guys. I want the first 10 comments all to be from Joe Biden. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at either of these. Remember, we make a show every single day. Listen to all of our podcasts. There's a link in the description so you can listen to this stuff while you're carrying on about your hopefully not too corrupt business dealings. More important than any of that is if you can, please stay free.